Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today we're going to be trying to fix up this SteelSeries Arctis 1. This was sent over to me by Stuart from infinitebargains.co.uk and Infinite Bargains for You on eBay. He sent me this one and also an Arctis 3, and they're both wired headsets. I just believe the Arctis 3 is a better headset. So on this one, apparently the sound doesn't come out of one speaker and the microphone doesn't work. So I'm going to test it out with my phone, and then I'll start filming when I have it all unboxed. It looks like it's a product from Argos, and it looks like it retails currently for around about 50 UK pounds, and to be fair, the reviews are quite good on it. Okay, so I can hear it coming very, very faintly out of this one here. I've got maximum volume on here, and I've got maximum volume here, but I can only hear it faintly out of, I think, this one. But look, watch this. When I wiggle, there. Hold on. There. We already know now that the fault here is to do with this part of the cable, and it always goes near enough by the strain relief anyway, because this is the part that's constantly bending. Stuart said in the email to me that he swapped this over with another one and he's proved the mic is faulty. I'll tell you what we could do. Let's just put that on pause. Let's go to ohms reading and let's see if we have anything. Annoyingly, it's a 4-pole plug, and you don't need a 4-pole plug on a microphone, so it's going to be harder to test. Right, so that's a short. That's a short. Those two are shorting. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. I wonder whether, shouldn't make a difference either way round, should it? I wonder whether the tip there, that one there, is the one that's not connected properly. But let's start with this. So let's get ourselves a 4-pole 3.5mm jack. You can see it's 4-pole because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections on it, and that size there is 3.5mm. Let's chop this here and put a new plug on, and then we can test these, make sure they're working fine, and then test the mic as well. So I'm going to go here. I don't want to shorten the lead too much now. I'm going to go, let me go here because we know it's broken here, don't we? So let me go here. I want to leave enough so I can find out what colour wires do what on this bit here. They feel pretty sturdy here. I wonder whether the brake is actually further up on this one. Anyway, we can cut this back a little bit. Let's try to strip these back just so we can test what goes where, and then I can write down the colour code according to where they go on here. And then I've got my new 4-pole jack here. This was just bought from CPC a long time ago, where I used to sell this kind of stuff. Maybe that item number there is still relevant. Things like this are not expensive. So there you go, you can see the 4 poles. We've got 3 contacts there and the ground. So the ground is going to be this one here. And then that next one is going to be the big one. That one is going to be that size one. And then the tip is going to be that tiny one there. So it's quite hard to solder onto because they're so small. But we should be okay. These wires are tiny. Oh, I think I remember this from a headset I did ages ago. They have like an enamel coating on them for insulation. You have to burn them off from memory. So I wonder, is that the ground? This must be the ground here. Just put 1 meter to continuity. No, you can see there it's not conducting because it is all covered in enamel. Right, last time I think I did it with a flame. I'm going to see if my soldering iron will work to burn away the enamel. Right, while I'm waiting for the soldering iron to heat up, I'm just going to start trimming away this side here. Now, is that where it's gone? Look at the green one here. Look. Can you see? I reckon, there you go. I think the green one, that was the one that failed. There. Right, strip back a bit more of this. So if I take it from about here, that should be fine. Right, my soldering iron's heated up. I just want to see if the heat will remove the enamel. I think it is. Right, let's see now if we have any continuity between those two and the ends here. Yeah, there you go, look. You can hear it here, but you can't hear it here. So if we go here now, come on. No. Ooh, okay, it's not there. See about this one here. No, I wasn't expecting that. Wasn't expecting that at all. Okay, well I'll do the others. They can't have all failed. Ah, here we go. Yes, success, we have one. We have one. Right, unless of course all of these are faulty. Highly unlikely. Because when we bent it, it was working, so that says to me that there's only really one of them. It's not going to work. Right, so we now know that the blue is the tip. So I can write that down. So it turns out that the wires were making their way over to the 4-pole plug, it's just that the enamel was stopping it from conducting. So once I went over the enamel bits time and time again with the soldering iron, I did get back to clean copper, and then I had full continuity between the different colour wires and the different parts of the 4-pole plug. So I scribble it all down on a little diagram on a bit of paper. Hopefully this will help other people out wanting to fix this type of headset. So we pick up the video now where I am showing you the nice pretty diagram. There we go. Black inside the braid is that one there. So this one, I presume it must be green. Let's just put a question mark there. There, it's there. We've proved every one of them now. There, green. Excellent. Okay, so we've got our colour code now. Not really sure. I think the braid is just to shield that one there, which I'm wondering if that's going to be the microphone. I don't need to know that anyway, but I think that's it. So all we have to do now is solder these ones onto my new plug, copying this colour code here. Yep. So before I forget, I'm going to put this on here, because there's nothing worse than soldering it all up and then realising you forgot about that. Now this is way too big for it, but I can fill it with some kind of liquid tape or something. So I'm just going to get this right out of the way so I don't have to worry about it. Now, let's have a look what we're going to do here. So one's got to be going down to here, which is going to be the black with the braid. So that one's going to be soldered to this one here. So there's so little room to work. The only thing I'm worried about is the braid here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this back even more just to see if I can see what the braid is actually doing, whether it's soldered onto anything. Well, as you can imagine, because it's all moulded, it's extremely destructive. But weirdly, you can see the braid here. Let's just get rid of that, with the black wire inside. Yeah, so braid with the black wire. But look, down at this very last bit, it looks like the black wire is separated out and the green is twisted around the braid. Really weird. So I think at this moment in time, I'm going to separate out the black wire from the braid, because I don't want to solder the braid to the black wire, because I don't know exactly what it's doing, whether or not it was connected in here along with one of the other wires. So yeah, that's a bit odd there. That's got me slightly concerned. But we'll see what works when we do this. So I'm going to separate out here now the braid from the black wire. Right, so that's the beginning of it there. So I'm going to be soldering this wire to this bit here, and then I can worry about the others. I'm going to leave the braid to the very end, and we'll put it together and see what works before we add any liquid tape to it. And before we seal this up, we'll try and fix this, and then we can see whether or not this is important, or is it just for reducing noise on this wire. Let's burn away the insulation. Right, you can see that's nice and clean now. So let's tin that little bit up. There we go. And now let's try to add a little bit of solder to this bit here. There we go. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of flux to it. And fold it down and solder it up. There we go. I can clean it all at the end with some IPA, but you can see now that bit's soldered on there. So now basically I need to do the same again, but I need to go across all of these ones here. So to make it easy for myself, I'm going to start on the very small one here and then work my way up along there to try to get the cables nice and neat. So I'm just going to put a little bit of flux on each of them and try to add a dot of solder to every single one of them. There we go. Right, so we know that the black braid is going to be that one there. So the next one along, this one here, is actually the tip, isn't it? Because we've already done a continuity test earlier on. So if I go to continuity here, if I go onto the very tip here, so that one is going to be our blue wire. So you get the idea. You can see that it's not easy just purely because of the size of it, but I just need to do the same as what I've just done on every single other wire now, and then give it a nice clean up with some IPA. So sit back, relax, watch me struggle and enjoy the music.
A little different than all the rest. I'm quite old-fashioned where I had sometimes played chess. And when I'm out, I'm looking for that vintage fling. But all complexions that I adore, so hard to find, these seem impossible to score. So I dream on to someday find that vintage love. I kept on looking soon as our eyes met and you saw me, and forevermore I'd like to share that vintage dream. Yeah, forevermore we're living in that vintage dream.
Right, so here we have it. I'm very happy with that. There's full isolation between each of them. I think that's going to work just fine, and they all feel pretty strong and sturdy as well. I'm happy with how the solder stuck. So it doesn't look that pretty, but it's incredibly small, and as soon as you tap the iron on this, it starts to melt the plastic anyway. But they're all on there, the pins on the inside. So now let's test this on the phone and see if we have sound. Right, here goes, just plug it in. It's fully in. In the area, so kind of like a charity, I think. Sounds much louder. Yeah, so it's a bit of a win-win. Can you see if it's coming out of both ears? Which is a lot of money. So they're the specs there. I've done no research into this. Yeah, it's coming out of both ears, nice and loud. So I'm just going to put each one up to the microphone. It's been sold as spares or repairs. The desktop has been inspected by our team. It powers on, the power button lights up. And fantastic, right, so that is all fine. Now we have to start looking into the microphone. Let's gently pull that out. Now let's zoom in and make a decision what we're going to do. So, let's have a look up here. I think it looks okay. I think it's going to be here. I mean, the very fact it's come out of here, I think this is where the problem's going to be. So let's see if we can cut back this a little bit. Even if the microphone's made much shorter, it's still going to work. So we've got like this kind of flexible hose here. It's going to be very awkward. It's probably gone just here. How much damage do I want to do to this? I mean, you might even be able to buy replacement ones of these, but it would be nice to try and fix it if we can. See, it's a shame because all of this is very strong, just like the plug here was incredibly well made here. It's just the wires they use are so thin, it doesn't take much flexing before they break. So I think that's what's happened here. The wires are probably broken on the inside. Right, while I'm struggling with this, let's give a shout out to the sponsors of today's video, which is of course the My Maven's Massive. And this month, the members of the Massive consist of... Now that's going the wrong way, I don't want to go down that way. I'm just going to get a little bit more slack here. The members this month consist of kitdigital.com, Kip Hakes, Max Rokotansky, Having Fun Repairs, Ellensburg Amplifier Repair and Service, Will Michaelis, Chris Seal, Dorian from Hoover Lux... Oh, that was right in my finger. Dorian from Hoover Lux Restorations, Rob Hughes, Felipe at MrKeebs.com, Dan Prutton, King Kurd from Lowbook Auto Sales, and Kiki Hobby Repair. Right, so this bit here is really hard to get into. So the plastic sleeve's lovely and easy to cut through, but underneath that we have a hard, very, very hardened spring, which I can't snip through whatsoever. But in between the spring, we then have a softer metal that I could cut and unravel. That's quite therapeutic to work with because you can just unwind it and it comes out nice and easy. But the spring can't be cut through. Well, it could be if I was to get pliers, but then I'm just going to cut straight through the wires on the inside. I kind of want to do it as gently as I can to see where the original fault was. So the only way I can get to it is by actually stretching the spring, and then it becomes obvious where the break in the wire is. And it's just as it meets the 3.5mm 4-pole plug. again where I suspected, because that's where it does the flexing. And it's the same setup as before. We have a little enamelled wire on the inside covered by braid, but in this instance the braid hasn't got enamel on it, so it's not conductive. This allows me to then test into the 3.5mm plug to make sure it's intact on that section there, and it also allows me to test into the microphone. So I'm just going to show you the testing off the plug and the testing off the microphone now. Before we melt the inner one, I'm hoping to find that the inner one might be these three, or do you reckon these three are going to be the braid? I suppose it would make more sense for these three to be the braid. Yes, yes, yes. Ah, so fair play to the braid. It was the middle blue one that broke, not the outer one. So you can see that it's just two wires. I wonder why they used a 4-pole plug for this when a mono one would have sufficed. Right, okay, so the blue one is the one that broke. So now let's melt this blue one. Hopefully it's broken here. I should be able to now test the other side once I strip it back, going into the microphone, and I should get some kind of reading. Fantastic. Excellent. Right, so we know that we're okay to there. It's going to be extremely hard to do anything to fix it, but at least we've proved where the fault went. Now, let me try to unwind this here to get to the cables going in this side. Right, I think that's enough to test. And let's just go to continuity. No, let's go to ohms to begin with, rather than continuity. And let's see whether we get a reading, because before this was completely open. So I'm going to go on to here and the braid. Come on, give me something. Fantastic, there you go. 824 ohms. So if I was on continuity, that wouldn't beep, and then you think there might be a fault. But a lot of meters only beep at a certain range. This will beep from 0 to 50 ohms. But as you can see here, we're at 800 ohms. Perfect. So 100% the microphone was faulty, and it was faulty where it went here. So now I've got to think about a way to somehow bodge this together and give it a little bit of strength. Not too sure how I'm going to do that. So let me have a little think. I don't really want to cut back much more of that, because otherwise it's not going to fit into here nicely. I suppose I've still got a bit of room to play with. Yeah, okay, I'm not too bothered about the length of it. I just want it to have a little bit of strength. Yeah, let me have a think. Well, I think what I'm going to do is, I've got a little bit of heat shrink here, but this isn't really going to give it much protection at all, if any. I think I'm going to try to solder up the wires back up again, and then maybe try to wrap some of this steel spring around each other, and that might give it some strength. Now, this is too small to be able to get a heat shrink onto here, so after I've soldered them up, they are insulated from each other because of the enamel, but I'm then going to cover it in liquid tape as well, and I'm hoping that will hold it. So what I need to do is, we need to put the blue to blue and the braid to braid. Now the braid on here is extremely short and the braid on here is extremely long, but if I marry them up like that, then I'm hoping they're going to be okay. Then I'm going to do the blue one first. Okay, that flowed quite nicely. Now I'm going to force that one down onto there. Right, let's see now if that's a full short or whether or not it's the microphone resistance. Fantastic. So at this moment in time, that should work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it in liquid tape, and that will give it more insulation between each other. and then I'm going to start to try to wrap it up back together. So this is what I'm going to use here, liquid tape. And if the microphone does work when I connect it to, for example, a PlayStation, then what I'll do is I'll put a load of liquid tape in here as well before I put the strain relief cover back on. Right, the plan was to try to bend this up around this one here, but as soon as I bent this, it snapped. So I've still got this one though, and this is more flexible, so this might give it a bit of strength. I would like to, without damaging it, I'd like to try to jab that into this bit here, and then it will just give it a little bit less movement. And if I make a little hole with a soldering iron, would that allow that to go in there? All of this is far from ideal, obviously. Item like this is not really repairable, is it? You just need to buy a new one. It's still interesting to see how it failed though. There we go, it's gone in. Yeah, that will definitely give it, look at that. That will give it some strength. Right, let's see now if it's still gonna see the microphone or whether it's shorted. Excellent, fantastic. Still sees the microphone. So now I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to wrap this around here, and now I'm going to start wrapping this around here. Like so. Oh, we're starting to get some strength back in it. I might put a bit of liquid tape on here just to give it a little bit more strength. Now I can put that on there. And try to heat that up. That goes on there, nice. I'm just going to give it one last try before I heat that up. Imagine now if it's failed. Yes! Now it might be really, really noisy. I don't think it will be, because we haven't actually touched the microphone side of things, it's just two wires. There we go. Well, do you know what? It's come out better than I thought it would, and it should still be flexible on this side here, which it will be. Right, I'm not going to play around with it too much because I don't think that's going to be really a repair that lasts very long. But who knows? Once the liquid tape and stuff goes off, it might work a while. So let's get this connected up to the PlayStation and see what it does. Now this is interesting. I'm just connected to the PlayStation 4 up here, and I can hear audio coming through the headphones fine, but the microphone's not working. I'm on the adjust microphone level here. But do you remember that little braid here? If I hit the braid against that top one there, which from memory was the green one, then the microphone works. So that one does have to be connected to the green. So watch this. If I'm up here and I'm speaking, you can see it's not moving. I've got the headphones just to the side of me, but let me try to balance this on here. Now watch. Testing, 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 testing. So we need to bring this back over, solder this one on. Luckily, I didn't put this one back together. And then I think this headset is going to work. So here we have it. This is it here. Blue, red, green. The braid from the black, what I call the black wire, could be grey. The braid goes to the green and the black wire goes to that one there. So hopefully that will help other people out if they're trying to fix the same headset as me, because it means you don't have to do the fault finding to find out what colour goes where. I'm not sure if this will be the same on all the SteelSeries, but this one here is the Arctis 1. So I just need to solder up the braid to where the green wire goes, and then we can put liquid tape on and finish it all off. So you can see now that the black wire goes to here, the braid off that black wire goes to here, the green wire goes to here, the red wire goes to there, and the blue wire goes to this one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flood this area now in liquid tape and push the end on. There we go, there's plenty on there now. I think that's probably way too much. This will hopefully glue it all together and give it the strength. I'm just going to twist that home. There we go, and now I'm going to wipe away the excess liquid tape. There you go, so obviously not as nice as it was before, but hopefully it might last a while. So I'm just going to let that dry in there for a good 5 or 10 minutes or so, and then we can plug it into the PlayStation and test it all out. Success! You can now see that it's working when I'm talking, and look, even if I tap it here, it's working. And watch, if I turn the switch off, oh, hold on, that way, you can see now that when I tap it, it's not doing it. Turn it on again. Sorry, just doing it one-handed. But yeah, that's it working there. Just going to take it over to the Xbox One and see if I can actually record a message. Also, it works when I do things like when I say the PlayStation. So if I just wear it for a minute. Ready? PlayStation. Home screen. All commands. Start settings. There we go. Right, I'm going to take it over to the Xbox now and actually record a message. Right, okay, I'm plugged into the Xbox now and it's working fine here as well. Now, just to show you that I can record a message, if I go over to here and go down to record, then I can speak into here, and hopefully when I play it back, you will hear it coming through the speakers. So testing 1, 2, 3, and now I'm just going to go to stop. And I'm going to go to play. In fact, you can already see the sound waves there, but listen to this. Speak into here, and hopefully when I play it back, you will hear it coming through the speakers. So testing 1, 2, 3, and now I'm just going to go to stop. So you can hear there that it's working absolutely fine. So quite an interesting little one there. Again, just faulty cables because of where they flex, which is how most headphones and headsets do fail. So massive thanks to Stuart for sending this out to me. So that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe for more videos. Take care, everyone.